When it comes to delivering flowers for life's special occasions, trust the name that's been setting the standard for nearly 50 years. 1-800-Flowers.com. From breathtaking bouquets to one-of-a-kind arrangements, 1-800-Flowers is your authority on quality blooms. Always fresh, always stunning, always delivered with care. And right now, for a limited time, you can save up to 40% off your bouquet and make someone's day. Save up to 40% off today at 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO. That's 1-800-Flowers.com/WWO.
Extra value meals are back. For just $5, get a savory and sweet sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles, plus hash browns and a coffee. Only at McDonald's.
For limited time only. Prices and participation may vary. Prices may be higher in Hawaii, Alaska, and California, and for delivery.
This podcast is supported by The Real Real.
You know what I love most about the holidays? Giving gifts. But not just any gifts. Real gifts. Thoughtful gifts. Oh my God, how did you know gifts? That's why I love gift shopping with The Real Real. The Real Real is the most trusted name in authenticated luxury resale. And it's a holiday shopping secret I'm going to let you in on. Whether it's a surprisingly affordable, pristine condition bag for your BFF, a vintage find that's cool enough for the Gen Zer in your life, or even something your impossible to shop for dad will love. Get used to saying I found it on The Real Real. Seriously, with over 10,000 new arrivals dropping every day from brands like Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co., and Cartier, there's guaranteed to be something for everyone on your list. Oh, and did I mention everything's up to 90% off retail?
Get $25 off your first purchase at TheRealReal.com. That's TheRealReal.com to get your $25 off. TheRealReal.com.
Welcome to the Covert Narcissism Podcast. I'm your host, Renee Swanson. I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. Not every danger looks like danger. Sometimes it can look peaceful and inviting, such as calm water, blue sky, and sunshine, until the moment you recognize the danger. Today, I want to take you on a little trip with me down a quiet, spring-fed, crystal-clear Florida river, where I had a very up-close and personal encounter with a mama alligator. Yeah, you heard me right, an alligator. And believe it or not, this story has everything to do with the way that your brain and body protect you when you're living in the chaos of a covert narcissistic relationship. Because what happened on that river, how my brain froze, distorted reality, and then kicked into survival mode, is exactly what happens to you physically, mentally, and emotionally when you're in a toxic relationship and you can't make sense out of what's really happening. Your brain gets hijacked in that moment. Welcome back to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we talk about how our brain will sometimes lie to us just to keep us safe for now. Now, let me take you there on this trip. It was just a few days ago. The water that day was so clear. We could see all the bottom of the river, the grass swaying in the current. It was this kind of otherworldly blue-green environment that you almost don't believe is real. And we had been on the water for a couple of hours. The wildlife we had seen was amazing. Turtles, osprey, ibis, woodpeckers, even a sea otter, and lots of manatees. Then as we're headed back upstream, now back towards our vehicle, we even spotted a baby alligator. It was on a log, sunning itself, and it was about 20 feet away over on the side of the river. And that's fine. He was cute, even adorable. He looked so tiny. And I thought, what a gift to see something like that in the wild, as long as he stayed 20 feet away, happy on his little log. Well, I kept paddling. I'm soaking this all in. Warm sun, soft breeze, no sound but the rhythmic drip of water from my paddle. This was blissful. But I did not even consider for a moment that Mama Alligator might be somewhere close by. Now, I'm smarter than that. I should have known where there's a baby, there's a mama, but I didn't even consider it. And I saw something in the water directly ahead of me. And in my mind, I thought, well, clearly that's a log. It wasn't sticking up very far, but that's a log, even though that so-called log was not there just a few minutes ago, and I had not seen any other so-called log in the middle of this river for 2 hours. But nonetheless, it was a log in the water up ahead. and I tried to steer away from it, but the current was just fast enough and had my kayak caught just enough that it kept me on course. And I realized I'm not going to miss it. I'm going to hit that log. Well, that's okay. No big deal. I'll just bump it and slide right past. This is not a problem. It wasn't a very big log. But as the nose of my kayak touched that log, it started to sink. The log, not my kayak. It started to sink. Slowly, gracefully, almost hypnotically, it just submerged in the water. And I felt it bump, actually, underneath my kayak. My brain trying to compute what's going on here, but it just couldn't quite get there. And I looked down in the water to my right, and I saw this whole entire body of an alligator. It was like this whole perfectly shaped 8 or 9 foot long, massive alligator. But I still couldn't compute. My brain wasn't working because the moment I should have recognized danger, my system froze in this weird, eerie calm. And I remember it so well. In that calm, my mind said, I didn't know alligators could shed their skin like that. Here was this perfectly formed alligator skin, like from the nose all the way to the tip of the tail. Even the claws, like I saw all the detail. But it was an alligator skin, clearly. I mean, let me repeat that. I was literally on top of a giant mama alligator, and my brain decided that it was a biology experiment? I mean, think about that. That water was so crystal clear, and I could see all the details of that alligator. I remember that moment so vividly. Here I was staring straight at a massive alligator. But the only thought that was in my mind was, wow, that's so cool. I've never seen a more perfect alligator skin. Well, meanwhile, my body had already made the decision that my mind would not make. And I was already paddling like my life depended on it, and honestly, maybe it did. But my mind couldn't catch up with what my body already knew. That bizarre split where your body reacts before your mind understands is one of the most powerful survival mechanisms that we have. It's called dissociation. And it happens when your brain is faced with something that feels too overwhelming, too terrifying, basically too much to fully process. Think of your brain as having a built-in circuit breaker. When a surge of danger floods the system, it flips the switch to protect you from overload. I know that alligators don't shed their skin. I am well aware of this. But in that moment, that thought was incredibly real. Well, here's what was happening behind the scenes inside my own head. Your brain has multiple parts, and we're going to discuss the 2 main parts involved here. The prefrontal cortex, which is your rational space, the logical planning brain, and the brainstem, which is your survival autopilot. It's got the amygdala in it, the hippocampus in it. When things are calm, these systems work together beautifully. You can think, feel, and act in harmony. But when danger hits, whether physical, emotional, mental, psychological, your brain does not hold a team meeting. It doesn't gather all the parts together and says, hey, let's have a conference and work as a group. No, it pulls rank. The prefrontal cortex, that part that says, let's calmly evaluate the situation. Let's sit here and discuss it. That part gets shut down. It gets muted and turned off. But the brainstem, that part jumps in and says, we're not talking about this. We're running. That's why your logical thoughts disappear in those moments of threat. You're not broken. You're actually efficient in removing yourself from danger. Your brain literally reroutes energy from logic to survival. Blood flow moves away from the frontal lobe of your brain and straight to your muscles. Your vision narrows, your hearing shifts, your digestion pauses, your heart rate skyrockets, your lungs fill up with huge capacity. When you are in a fight or flight response, I'm going to tell you the feelings that are going on inside your body, they don't feel good. Well, they're not supposed to. If they were the feel-good chemicals inside of you, you might stop and take a picture. If I'm in the wilderness when a bear comes across my path, if that fight or flight response felt good, then I might stop and try to, talk to the bear or at least get a picture with it. I might have tried to grab my camera and taken a picture of the alligator. No, these chemicals feel bad, but they're supposed to feel bad because they want action and they want it now. Every part of you is suddenly focused on one thing: survival. Your system's number one job is to survive. Everything else is secondary. But here's the thing. Sometimes you can't run. The bear in the wilderness, maybe the best answer is to run. In a kayak with an alligator, running is clearly not going to be it, but my best situation was to paddle, but I can't out-paddle an alligator. So maybe sometimes the danger is emotional and not physical. When you're in a relationship with your spouse and that's the danger, you can't run. Maybe the danger is sitting across from you at a dinner table or at a family gathering. When you can't physically escape, your brain finds another way to protect you. It distorts your reality. That's dissociation. It can look like numbness, feeling detached from your body, like an out-of-body experience, time slowing down, or in my case, thinking that alligator was a piece of floating skin. It's your brain saying, if you can't escape physically, I'll protect you emotionally and mentally. If you've ever lived with a covert narcissist, and many of you I know have, you have felt this. The subtle insults, the quiet withdrawals of affection, the gaslighting, the "I never said that" or "you're overreacting." And at first, your brain tries to make sense out of it logically. Maybe he's just stressed. Maybe I misunderstood. She had a rough childhood. But the danger isn't logical, it's emotional. It's relational. It's deep and subtle and chronic. So when logic fails, and it will, your brain switches to survival. It detaches. It numbs. It turns the emotional alligator into a harmless log. Because that's the only way that I could stay in the kayak. Otherwise, I might have jumped out in panic. You start telling yourself stories in order to survive. He doesn't mean to hurt me. I can fix this if I try harder. It's not abuse. I would know if it was abuse. You see, these excuses, reasons, justifications, they keep you from jumping out of the marriage in panic. They're not lies. You're not lying to yourself, and you're not weak for having these thoughts. They're coping mechanisms. Me believing that alligator was just the alligator.
AI agents are everywhere, automating tasks and making decisions at machine speed. But agents make mistakes. Just one rogue agent can do big damage before you even notice. Rubrik Agent Cloud is the only platform that helps you monitor agents, set guardrails, and rewind mistakes, so you can unleash agents, not risk. Accelerate your AI transformation at Rubrik.com. That's RUBRIK.com.
This podcast is supported by The Real Real.
You know what I love most about the holidays? Giving gifts. But not just any gifts. Real gifts. Thoughtful gifts. Oh my God, how did you know gifts? That's why I love gift shopping with The Real Real. The Real Real is the most trusted name in authenticated luxury resale. And it's a holiday shopping secret I'm going to let you in on. Whether it's a surprisingly affordable, pristine condition bag for your BFF, a vintage find that's cool enough for the Gen Zer in your life, or even something your impossible to shop for dad will love. Get used to saying I found it on The Real Real. Seriously, with over 10,000 new arrivals dropping every day from brands like Gucci, Fendi, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Tiffany & Co., and Cartier, there's guaranteed to be something for everyone on your list. Oh, and did I mention everything's up to 90% off retail?
Get $25 off your first purchase at therealreal.com. That's therealreal.com to get your $25 off. Therealreal.com.
Your skin was a coping mechanism in the moment. It's your mind's way of keeping you functional in an unsafe environment. Now, here's the neuroscience. When a person experiences trauma, especially chronic relational trauma, the amygdala, which is your fear center, becomes overactive. It sounds the alarm quickly, even for subtle threats. The hippocampus, which holds memory and time, gets disrupted. So you start losing track of when things happened or how bad they were. Memories get a little bit warped. And your prefrontal cortex, that rational decision-making, logical thinking part of your brain, it goes mostly offline. This is why you can say, I know this is unhealthy, and still stay. Because knowing is logical. But safety? Safety is primal. And leaving absolutely might not feel safe to you right now. Your survival brain says, we can't leave yet. It's not safe enough. So let's warp this reality a little bit to keep you safe while we figure out what to do. It protects you the only way that it can at the time, by minimizing your own reality. It's the same as my brain telling me it's just a log. Because if I had fully processed in that moment that I was literally riding over an 8 or 9 foot mama alligator, I might have frozen and stopped paddling, which leaves me there, or panicked and knocked myself out of my own kayak. In this situation, either of those reactions could have gotten me hurt. My brain distorted reality to keep me moving. Just keep paddling upstream right this moment. Yours did the same thing in your relationship. It softened the truth so you could keep functioning until it was safe enough for you to face it. Once I paddled away, even just a few seconds, but as I finally got past that alligator, and I looked back and recognized that she was not chasing me, okay? In fact, she never even moved. She just watched me float over top of her. Now everything changed. My nervous system decided I was safe enough to handle reality. And it was like my logical brain burst through the door and screamed, wait, that was an actual alligator. And suddenly, my heart was pounding, my hands were shaking, my mind was racing, my lungs were bursting, and I wanted out of there so badly. Well, now I'm paddling like a lunatic to get away from this alligator. In addition to that, I doubted my reality. I doubted what I had just seen. I turned to my kayaking buddy and said, did that actually happen? Did I imagine this? Maybe that really was a log. And she calmly said to me, Renee, you just ran over an alligator. The shock hit after the danger was gone. Oh my gosh, that really was an alligator. Now my system could finally afford to process it. Well, that same thing happens after escaping an abusive relationship. In it, you're convinced that it's a log or a floating skin, that it's okay, that they didn't mean it, that this was just a one-off, that, they really truly love me. Once you're out, you look back and think, was it really that bad? Did I imagine it? Did that really even happen? That's not denial. It's waking up. It's waking up from the fog of survival mode. For me, it happened in an instant. That was a quick, very distinct example. But when it's been a marriage of 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, that's a long time fog. And reality begins to sink in. Yes, that did really happen. It really was that bad. Your mind is slowly reintroducing the full reality that it protected you from. Now that you understand what's happening, how do you help your brain and your body finish the story? Because when fight or flight mode doesn't complete, that energy gets stuck inside of you. You stay tense, hypervigilant, and exhausted. Here's what completion looks like. Move. Walk, dance, shake. I don't know if you've ever shaken like a dog shakes. Let your body discharge the adrenaline. It's why dogs do that after a moment of tension. They shake their whole body to just let it go. Exhale slowly. Long exhales tell your vagus nerve, we're safe. Ground yourself through senses. Notice what you see, hear, feel, smell, and taste. Name the truth. Say it out loud. That was danger. That was an alligator. That was an abusive relationship. But I'm safe now. And connect. Talk to people, your support group, hug them, laugh with them. Co-regulation calms your nervous system faster than isolation. You might need to isolate some, but you also need those safe people in your life. Not a bunch of them, just a few. These are the signals that your survival brain needs in order to stand down and relax. Now, I can laugh about what happened just a few days ago now. This bizarre, I didn't know alligators shed their skin moment because my body has finished the cycle. But at the time, that moment of distorted perception saved me. And here's what I want you to hear. If you've ever thought, why didn't I see it sooner? Why did I stay? Why did I freeze? Why did I fawn? It's because your brain was saving your life. I could look at my alligator story and tell myself, how stupid can I be? I actually believed for a moment that alligators could shed their skin and even do it with the skin staying completely and perfectly intact. But instead of shaming myself for that ridiculous thought, I want to thank my system for protecting me, for keeping me calm in such a strangely dangerous situation. When you start blaming yourself and accusing yourself for being blind and ignorant, stop. I'm going to encourage you instead. Don't judge yourself, don't shame yourself, but rather thank yourself. You didn't fail to see the truth. You weren't allowed to see it yet. Not until you were safe enough to handle it. Your dissociation is not weakness, it's wisdom. When you start to heal, your awareness returns like the sunlight after a storm. You begin to see the alligators for what they are. It can be painful and traumatizing because now you realize what you survived. But that awareness is not punishment. It's proof that your nervous system finally feels safe enough to let you see clearly. Listen to what I'm saying here. Your eyes getting open, your memories resurfacing, these are signals that you are finding safety within you and that healing is taking place. So if you're in that place right now, if you're just waking up, piecing together what really happened, please be gentle with yourself. You were never blind. You were surviving. And you survived well enough to be here now, listening, learning, healing. You're back in your kayak on calm water. The alligator is behind you. And this time, you can laugh. You can breathe. You can paddle forward with your eyes open and your heart awake. If you need help on this journey, processing what you've been through and setting yourself up for a successful healing journey, please reach out to me. I am available and I'm eager to help. I have a holiday special that has just started for my individual healing program. 4 sessions plus videos and handouts. It's a perfect jumpstart to that healing process. Right now, it is on sale for 25% off. You just got to use the discount code. I'm going to give it to you. It's Refuge 2025. And Refuge is all caps, REFUGE 2025. This is available on my website at covertnarcissism.com. I would love to help you on that journey of making peace once again with your system. I wish you so much peace on your journey of healing. You have been listening to the Covert Narcissism Podcast, where we break apart the insidious nature of these incredibly destructive and infinitely frustrating individuals. If you are caught up in this crazy-making relationship and drowning in self-doubt, guilt, or rumination, please reach out to me anytime. I offer individualized live coaching in both group and individual settings. We can find the right program for you. You do not need to go through this alone. You can find all of that information on my website at covertnarcissism.com. You can also reach out to me by email at Renee, RENEE, at covertnarcissism.com. I do do look forward to hearing from each and every one of you. Remember, I am not a therapist, and you are not a victim. I am a coach, and you are a survivor. The information provided by Renee Swanson, Covert Narcissism Podcast, and CNG Life Coaching is for educational purposes only and is not to be used for diagnosis purposes. It is not intended to be a substitute for clinical care. Please consult a healthcare provider for guidance specific to your case. This material discusses narcissism in general. Renee shares stories from her personal experience as well as from those that she has worked with for several years. Her material does not claim that any specific person has narcissism and should not be used to refer to any specific person as having narcissism. Permission is not granted to link to or repost this material to support an allegation or support a claim that any specific person is a narcissist. That would be an unauthorized misuse of the material and the information provided. Thank you.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's Best Eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition like 6 times more vitamin D, 10 times more vitamin E, and 25% less saturated fat compared to ordinary eggs. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's Best. Better taste, better nutrition, better eggs. Visit egglandsbest.com to learn more.
'Tis the season of gifting and halls to deck, and the Who's in Who Newville were in love with new tech. Where can we find Sonos and Samsung and Nintendo, they shouted. Would they find it in one place? This they questioned and doubted. When suddenly a Who yelled, Walmart's the place to start! And each Who added headphones, TVs, and games to their carts. With Walmart, their shopping was done in a flurry. They cried out, who knew? And ordered their gifts in a hurry. Shop the latest tech gifts in the Walmart app.
Hi, it's Eva Longoria, and let's be real. After 40, we should ask for more from our skincare. I swear by Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. With vitamin C, pro-retinol, and hyaluronic acid, it reduces my wrinkles, firms, and brightens. And it's not a procedure. It's just a hard-working moisturizer.
Revitalift Triple Power Moisturizer by L'Oreal Paris. Grab it today in fragrance-free or with SPF 30. Available at your local Target.
At Capella University, learning online doesn't mean learning alone. You'll get support from people who care about your success, like your enrollment specialist, who gets to know you and the goals you'd like to achieve. You'll also get a designated academic coach who's with you throughout your entire program. Plus, career coaches are available to help you navigate your professional goals. A different future is closer than you think with Capella University. Learn more at capella.edu.
Time. It's always vanishing. The commute, the errands, the work functions, the meetings, selling your car. Unless you sell your car with Carvana. Get a real offer in minutes. Get it picked up from your door. Get paid on the spot. So fast, you'll wonder what the catch is. There isn't one. We just respect you and your time. Oh, you're still here? Move along now. Enjoy your day. Sell your car today.
Carvana.
Pickup fees may apply.